So, with all of the interesting aspects of the PlayStation 5 Pro, people are talking about it. Of course, Xbox fans are talking about it, quite a bit. I'm sure there's a lot of Xbox fans that feel one way or the other. I've seen some Xbox fans say, well, who needs something like that? Or, it's not a big deal. But, I tend to kind of look at the aspect of this and go, I really think a lot of Xbox fans would have loved to have a more powerful Xbox right now, right? It just is, when you are when you're sitting there looking at, you've had the most powerful platform for the last 7+ years, which they did, Xbox One X and Xbox Series X, and now you are, getting the butt kicked by PlayStation 5 already in terms of sales, and developers are kind of forgetting about your platform and things like that. You kind of are in a rough spot, and you've left your fans in a rough spot because they've bought into the things that you were selling, right? They bought into, hey, we have the most powerful, we have a great platform, we have all this stuff, and then you're putting your games on the competition's platform, and most of the games that you've been putting on the other platform have actually performed better on that other platform, so you're really kind of screwing over your own fan base a little bit. But this I thought was very interesting, so I want to get into it. It should be a fun video. What's up, everybody? Crap Gamer here with Crap Gamer Reviews, back with another video. Thank you all so much for checking it out. I certainly appreciate it. It really does mean a lot to me. You guys can like the video, share it out, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff. It does really help, more than you guys could really know. And like I said, I do daily video game content. Maybe you guys are interested in that. It's kind of fun. It's something that I enjoy doing, and definitely growing the channel a bit like I have been the last couple of months has been a blessing and something that I'm very stoked about. So yeah, thank you guys. Now, we've seen a lot of stuff on the PlayStation 5 Pro, and there hasn't been like a whole lot of comments from Phil Spencer and company, but there's some interesting things. A lot of developers are talking about supporting the PS5 Pro and things like that, but there's been very interesting kind of situation that has happened, right? There's an interesting developer not talking about supporting it, and that is Xbox, right? So think about that for a second. Like, a lot of us are assuming that, Xbox is going to of course, support it. We know Indiana Jones is going to PS5. We know that Doom is going to PS5. We know that there's already games on there. Sea of Thieves, Pentiment, Grounded, Hi-Fi Rush. So we know that there's these games on the PS5. And people were worried that, these first-party Xbox games would actually perform best on the PS5 Pro. I mean, a good number of them already perform best on the regular PS5, but could you imagine a situation where, like, the PS5 Pro is absolutely, like, kind of skunk-walking, these games? Like, I think that would be a terrible thing for fans, but it looks like, at least from right now, which is kind of a slap-in if you ask me, according to this anyway, it doesn't look like Microsoft is going to be putting their games on the PlayStation 5 Pro, or at least like supporting that and things like that. So again, we'll see kind of what happens, if this could be something that like changes down the line or whatever. But I think it's significant. Like, if you have fans, and like I get it, like console maybe isn't your main focal point or whatever, but if you're like, you still have 20 some million people who own your Xboxes this gen, right? And yet, guess what? You are absolutely like screwing them over by putting your games on the other platforms, making your platform even less relevant, and people really feel bad about that, right? Like, that's what people don't understand. It's like they really kind of screw people over and make people feel bad about buying their thing, right? Like, I'll be honest, if they had said, hey, we're going to put our games on PlayStation, I probably wouldn't have bought one. You know what I mean? Like, I get that some people don't care or whatever, and most of us are busy playing multi-plats and things like that. But it's at the same place, you have to realize that by putting your content on a rival platform, it is making it so less people have to play a reason to play your platform. So like I think people have to kind of understand that, and understand why people are feeling the way that they're feeling about it. Like they have the right to feel that way. They're invested into this platform. They have like all the promises and things like that. And then at the end of the day, it's like, hey, you kind of like screwed us over a bit with this stuff. So yeah, I can understand why there is some frustration there, and why so many people are upset or whatever. So, from my perspective anyway, I can see that. I know that there are some Xbox fans, even if they won't admit it, that really, really wanted Microsoft to come out with an upgraded console. I mean, because think about it, we're in 2024. You could possibly be 2-3 years away from getting the next Xbox, and that's going to be years of having the absolute worst version of, these games and things like that. I think that's going to be sort of where we see, some people even further sort of abandoning the Xbox platform. And listen, I'm not saying that there's no reason to own an Xbox, right? Like if you have a if you have a situation where you have a big library built up, or maybe you really do like Game Pass and the console experience, then I 100% understand why you would have an Xbox, right? It makes a lot of sense, at the same time, I can understand where people wouldn't have an Xbox after all this time, because people realistically, when you look at it, it's just one of those things where you go, okay, well, how can Microsoft get people back on board after everything that they've done? And I think that the answer to that is you got to be inventive, and you got to put out great games, right? Like that's it. Like a lot of people probably maybe don't even know that that to be honest with you, that this stuff is going on or whatever. They don't know about it, and that's kind of a shame. I think it's like they don't know that Xbox is putting their games, and so that could actually benefit Microsoft, and I'm sure they probably thought it would, but at the end of the day, it's just one of those things where I think that Microsoft probably has lost a good amount of like their hardcore fans. So unless they come out with something that is going to attract that casual, which isn't Game Pass, by the way, because casuals aren't interested in hundreds of games. They're only interested in like the same few games that they play every single year. And until we see something kind of change drastically, like who's gonna really trust that, and that's, I think, a real issue kind of going forward. So I'm sure that a lot of you probably have some kind of thought process or some kind of idea behind what's going on. I'm just kind of curious the way that everybody kind of feels about this, because we all think differently when it comes to gaming, and we all think hey, this happens or that happens for a reason or whatever. But at the same time, it's like it's on these companies to make sure that the gamers have what they really want, and that's like the great games and things like that. And that's where I think we should really kind of focus it, because if I had to say, okay, well, why have I been disappointed with Xbox or PlayStation or whoever this generation? And it comes down to the games, really. The games are the reason why I'm disappointed, and it's just honestly just a shame that these companies didn't focus first on that. I mean, listen, some of you might really like my channel, maybe on the off chance, but I'm definitely the type of person that thinks that games should just focus on the fun and not check boxes or whatever. Okay, let's make sure that we include this and this and this, right? Like that's a way to make a game unfun, right? It's a way to make a show not good, make a movie not good, okay? What you got to do is focus on making things fun, being compelling, great stories, great gameplay, all this kind of good stuff, right? And then you worry about, you know what I mean? Like you do that, and gamers won't care about that. I think gaming is very inclusive in the first place. Nobody was going, I can't identify with Master Chief, or I can't identify with Marcus Phoenix or whoever. You know what I'm saying? It's like great gameplay and great characters and great stories. Like, hey, I can't identify with Kratos. Nobody was saying that stuff, right? Because these are great characters, and so focus on that stuff, and the rest will kind of come. So I think these companies need to really kind of get back into that. Stop pushing the agenda. Look, Ubisoft, they're like, we aren't trying to push agendas, despite the fact that there's tons of evidence and articles and stuff where they're like, hey, we're pushing an agenda, we want this, this, and this, and to be evident in all of our games. And then they're like, why is nobody buying our games? Well, here's the thing, this quote-unquote modern audience doesn't exist. The only audience that exists is the one that exists, which is the one that doesn't want that stuff. So, maybe lean into that a little bit more and forget about this so-called quote-unquote modern audience. I don't know, just just my crazy 2 cents that people would buy your games. So anyway, let me know what you guys think about this. Phil Spencer not supporting the PS5 Pro from the looks of it with updated Xbox games. Let me know what you guys think. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer out.